All right. We are live. We are back in action, attacking your speakers from the field to the bleachers. This is the Power 32 podcast, and we are joined by a freaking awesome cast today, baby. I'm going to introduce him in a second, but first, my partner, my man, David Dale, Mr. Primetime 313. What's going on, baby?
What up, though? How you doing, man?
All good. It's another Thursday night, ready to rock and roll. We got football. We're like just a few weeks away. I can taste it, man. It's there. We're doing our division breakdowns, and today we got AFC and NFC South in here to help us out. Our two extremely knowledgeable gentlemen. I've known these guys for a long time. Introducing first the host of The Real Deal with Damian Adams and my co-host for the better part of 3 years on the 3rd and 3 podcast, Mr. Damian Adams in the house. Bro, what is up?
Hey, man, I'm just glad to be here. Thankful for the invite. Anytime the Sports Prophet calls on you to come to the show, you got to come through, man. You got to come through. So I'm just thankful for the invite and ready to talk some football, man.
Appreciate having you on, man.
Damn glad he is here. He brings the insight, man. He's going to break down the NFC South like no other. And here to break down the AFC South, we also have the host of Touring the AFC South and This Woman Works pod, Mr. Mike Patton, who also covers the Tennessee Titans directly. So this man knows his stuff. He's in the know. He's there with his camera. He's there with his microphone. He's doing his thing. Mike Patton, I still call you the general from back in the day, bro. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Some people still call me that, and actually some people that don't even know me will just say, hey, you kin to the general? And I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, man.
What's going on?
That's originally how I knew him. He was the general. Mike Patton. That's how I originally knew him. It just kind of fit. It worked out great. So in my phone, he's still the general. I'm never changing it. That's the way it is.
That brings back memories right there.
Yeah, boy. Yo, so what year are we going into with this fantasy league, the Real Deal Fantasy League that we got coming up a draft on Sunday?
This is year 4.
4, that's right. Wow, man, I can't wait, bro. I got the 7th pick. What'd you get?
I got number 6.
6. What'd you get, Mike?
I think I got 3. I can't remember, to be honest. I believe I still got 3.
I think you were
3.
3rd.
Yeah.
I'll get a pretty good running back then. All right. And then, me and Prime, we got
y'all gonna talk crazy about my picks already. Y'all already expect it.
I don't care what anybody says. Let them make fun of me. I don't care. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Good show, for sure.
Yep. I'm going to try not to give away any secrets today, but I don't know. I'll see if I can get some out of these guys right here and kind of hit them what the draft is doing. Since, Damian drafts right before me. He'll be right after me in the snake style. So I know who to steal from him, and I don't know who to Yo, first, before anything, we do trivia on the show, guys. All right. So there's 3 of you. We're going to do a 3-part trivia. So every question is for everybody. You ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go. First tier. Who was the quarterback of the Colts the last time they made the playoffs? And it's for all of you.
Last time they made the playoffs.
Not won a game, but last time they made the playoffs. Who was the
I couldn't hear you properly. What was that?
The quarterback of the Colts the last time they made the playoffs.
Quarterback of the
You want to just answer? Or you want to just
you could throw it out there. I'll wait till everybody answers.
All right. I'm gonna say Andrew Luck.
All right, 1 for Andrew Luck. We got any other guesses?
Oh man, last time they made the playoffs.
Didn't I ask a similar, but it was last time they won a playoff game. So yeah, you're putting a twist on it.
Yeah, I'm definitely mixing
last
it
time
up
they made the playoffs.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a backup quarterback in there that I'm forgetting about.
Trying to sneak one in,
yeah.
Yeah,
because my first instinct is Andrew Luck when I think about it, but I feel like there's a year I'm missing where they made it with a quarterback who's not.
I feel like it too when I said Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. You know what? I thought one of you guys would have got it. Do you remember when they lost to the Buffalo Bills and Phillip Rivers came over for 1 year and played?
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. Yeah, I forgot about that. Forgot about that.
Yeah, didn't work out too well for them. They had a pretty good regular season, but at the end of the year, not too good. All right, so that was
Phillip Rivers versus Eli debate will live on forever.
Oh yeah.
If you wanna talk about classic 3rd-and-3 segments, Eli Manning.
Don't start. Tell them, Prophet, don't start. Damian, you and I go back and forth on X. I'm Eli.
I get on.
I'm a Giants fan, Lions fan, and
Prophet. I was gonna say something, but I ain't gonna say it.
Don't look,
man. Get on him, man. It's all good.
I was gonna say he's gonna eventually be a Hall of Famer, whether we like
it or not. He is. I think he might get it next year.
But he's not a first ballot guy. End of story. I won't argue with it anymore.
No, definitely not first ballot. Oh, God.
Me and Damian said that forever. We're like, he's not first ballot, not happening.
That second ballot isn't good either, though, with Larry Fitzgerald and Drew Brees both being automatic first ballot guys.
Right? Come on. I mean,
okay, here, let's hear. Okay, you guys suck me in here. All right. So I have to ask, since I got the two of you guys on, and Prophet already knows how I feel about it. So, what makes Drew Brees a first ballot Hall of Famer and not Eli, despite the fact that Matthew Stafford's probably closing in now on a lot of Eli's top 10 stats, but the guy with 2 Super Bowls, and I know that the Giants have never had like that. They've never been like a consistent 10, 11, 12 win team. But what makes Drew Brees a first ballot Hall of Famer and not Eli Manning? And I'm
that
just
was
asking.
A big
I'm
part
not
of
asking.
It. That was a big part of the consistency. The fact that Damian, Drew Brees, and them were in there every year. Yeah, they only won 1 Super Bowl, but every single year they were killing. They were running the NFC South, right?
Yeah, it's consistency, and also the Hall of Fame is an individual award. It's not a team award. So you look at Drew Brees as an individual quarterback; he's miles better than Eli Manning.
Oh, and I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not. But I asked people that question that when I first meet them or whatever, just to kind of gauge where they're at. Because you can also do the Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford debate. I used to always say for the longest time that Aaron Rodgers was just Matthew Stafford without a Super Bowl ring, and now that he's got one, I know the wins are there and all that, but I'd take Matthew Stafford over Aaron Rodgers. I know that's not a popular opinion, but
you open up a whole other can of whooping.
But yeah, I was just curious I always try to get a feel for guests and stuff in their Eli thermometer, the barometer there for Eli. So all right.
You're not going to find it well on the other side.
I'm trying to find some allies here, but I see that's not the case. So
I honestly didn't think Eli was that great coming out of college.
No,
I honestly did not. I've watched SEC football. I live in the SEC country. I didn't even think he was that great coming out of college, nor did I think he was going to be drafted in the top 5. But then again, I remembered he is a Manning and he is Peyton Manning. So there you go.
It's he's the quarterback of my team, so I had to root for him. I didn't have a choice.
If his last name wasn't Manning, I don't know if he'd be going number 1. I highly doubt it. But all right, let me get to trivia question number 2 before we get into the AFC South. And we're going to go NFC South question. Who was the last head coach of the Carolina Panthers the last time they made the postseason? Who was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers the last time they made the postseason?
I'm going to go with John Fox.
John Fox.
I'll second that. I'll go with John Fox.
I think that's a good guess right there because they had to make it since Rivera. So I'm going to go John Fox.
But Fox is before Rivera.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang, yeah, he was.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the coaches after.
And Carolina is a forgettable franchise.
They very forgettable. After like their first couple years, it's been like, okay.
Well, you're on the right track, man.
Yeah, the first couple years, and you got the Cam Newton prime, and then like it's kind of a blur. the rest of their history.
Yeah.
Kind of like. Of course, the Jake Delhomme year when they went to the Super Bowl, of course, stands out as well.
But it was Ron Rivera.
It was Ron.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was Rivera. There you go.
I was like, man, they had to have made it since Rivera.
They've been stinking it up, man. They've been a crap
0 for 2
franchise.
Man.
This one is like nearly impossible. I don't see how you guys are going to get it. So I didn't get it. I'll be honest with you. What is the only team to draft more quarterbacks than the Cleveland Browns since 1999? And the Browns drafted 14.
Wow.
Any round, it doesn't matter.
really
You're
hard.
talking like just combined picks. It doesn't matter first, second, third.
It doesn't matter
fifth,
what
sixth,
round.
seventh
Yeah, just total quarterbacks.
Since what year?
Very hard. Since 1999. Who has the most? Who has drafted the most quarterbacks?
Wow.
That's a tough one.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a really hard question.
Your first instinct would be the Browns, as far as like
Right.
who drafted the most. You definitely think Browns first.
I'm gonna say the Arizona Cardinals.
That's a good guess. You know, they went back-to-back years of Rosen and Murray and didn't have much success before that. So that's a good guess.
Throw Jake Plummer in there.
Yeah,
And all those
Jake
guys.
the
yeah.
Snake.
Fourth and fifth rounders.
yeah. Let's say all those bums that was starting Larry Fitzgerald after Kurt Warner.
Oh, I got another one. I got another guess, but I'll leave it alone because I already made my one guess.
You can throw it out there if you want.
Denver.
Denver's another one. These are great. I'm going to tell you, they're not. It's really going to surprise you the answer. That much I can tell you.
Okay.
It's going to shock you, actually.
Well, I know one of them. I know another one too, but I'm gonna leave it alone, and I'm pretty sure it's close to home to me right now too.
You know what's funny? I'm thinking about it now. There's a team that drafted a bunch of quarterbacks, even though their starter didn't change for like 20 years. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots because they kept drafting backup quarterbacks.
Ding! There you go.
That's a good one. I was going to say the Lions for the same reason. You know, they had Stafford there for the longest, but they were still drafting. I was going to say so, but yeah, that's.
I know the Titans have got to be close on that list somewhere.
You know, I
They've
should
got
have
to be
checked the
close.
list. You're right. I know, but I know the teams you said were near the top. Actually, when I saw Patriots, I'm like, what? And nice call, Damian. I never would have got that in a million years, bro.
Good one.
Wow.
Yeah. It came to me. I was like, every year it would surprise me because they would draft like a third round QB. It was like, why are you doing this? They would do it all the time. Yeah.
After thinking about it for a while, you're right. No kidding. Jeez. All right, let's get to what we're here for, baby. Let's do the AFC South first. We're going to break it down. Both these guys know everything, so we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about the Titans first because, Mike, you cover that team directly. You're on the field. You know what's going on. And I want to know, other than Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, where's the offense going to come from? Is it going to be Cam Ward making other guys better? Picked up Tyler Lockett this year. Guard, you got Kevin Zeitler, so that's going to help out a little bit. But I don't know. What else? What are we looking for?
Oh, you got Dan Moore Jr. on one side, and now you flip J.C. Latham over from left tackle to right tackle.
Okay.
So that's another thing. I would say Gunnar Helm is going to be a guy to surprise people too, because Gunnar Helm actually is a solid hands guy that can catch the football. I mean, I still remember in practice, you're watching Cam Ward scramble out to his left, and he throws a pass. It looks like it's behind Gunnar Helm, but because he's going up the field, he flips his hips, turns around, catches it like it's almost knee to thigh level, catches it, gets 2 feet in and lands out of bounds, but still gets, gets 6 feet in and whatever. It was an incredible catch for a 6'4" man. So he's definitely going to be a guy to watch, along with Chig Okonkwo, if Chig can use his athleticism and, quit the doldrums of missing the big play. So they have some players, and of course Tyjae Spears, if he's healthy, be another guy. But Cam Ward is definitely confident in this team. He actually said the other day that he believes they have top 5 weapons, especially at the wide receiver position. Now, to me, I believe that's showing confidence in his players. Do I know if he believes that or not? He might actually really believe that, but I just think it's showing confidence in the players that are around him, to be honest.
Yeah, no doubt. If anything, you want to hear that, right, Damian? I mean, that already showing the good leadership that, saying, no, these guys are top 5 guys, even though, you know what, I don't think he believes it. And I think that, you know what, maybe he does believe it because that's all he's played with, so he doesn't even know any better. And these are the guys.
He loves Calvin Ridley, I'll tell you that. That is without a doubt. He loves some Calvin Ridley because he has talked about that a lot this offseason.
Ridley, man, if it wasn't for that whole gambling thing, he never would have left Atlanta. He probably would have been a top receiver over there. But I don't know, D, what are you looking with the Tennessee Titans this year? Do you think that they can maybe take a step up in the division?
Probably not. I think they're still like a year or two away from being able to take that step. But it is good what Mike is reporting as far as the signs going forward. I just was writing down draft Calvin Ridley in Real Deal Fantasy Football League. I was writing more down to draft him. But yeah, everything Mike is saying is showing towards a positive direction. But they're still a year or two away, talent-wise, from being a team that could really challenge in the division.
I will tell you this, though. if you actually watch where they played last year, they lost a lot of games very close, and that could flip from season to season because teams that win close games the next season usually they lose a lot of those close games. So, and a couple of those games the Titans lost because of quarterback play, in particular things that a quarterback did. Of course, the shuffle, the interception he gave the Chicago Bears, and I'm talking Will Levis, and also the little shuffle pass he gave to Tony Pollard that was not even in plan. So, with those different things, hopefully Ward can clean up a little bit more of the quarterback play, and he's going to have some ups and downs, but he can hopefully clean that up, and I think they can actually be a team that can be a thorn in a lot of people's sides this season, and potentially, I don't know if you got win totals yet, but I got a win total for them as well.
Okay, well, I'm curious to hear what it is because last year they were 3-14, and their points for and against was not good. I mean, it was 311 for and 460 against. So they have a lot of improvement to do, bro. I would love to hear how many wins you think they're going to get.
Honestly, if you look at the points, a lot of it is because the offense put the defense in terrible positions, turning over the football with short fields. Yep. And they actually were the second in the NFL in terms of yards given up per game. It's just that the turnovers would kill them, and along with penalties at the wrong time. So to me, I would put them at giving anywhere between 7 to 9 wins this year. Wow. Given the strength of the division, given that they are playing against the NFC West, which I'm not saying the Arizona Cardinals are going to be world beaters. They aren't. And then, of course, you got Seattle still trying to figure things out. And also, Mr. Sam Darnold is probably going to revert back to the pumpkin as opposed to Cinderella.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't know what the hell Seattle was thinking right there. I think Milroe would be starting before you even know it, bro. Running all over the damn field and throwing it a mile. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, all right, what do you got, probably happens. So when I'm looking, the first thing I'm looking at is when I'm thinking about the Titans is the schedule. The schedule's not that difficult. They do have a game, I think they play Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
So, but my question to you guys is that when you look at their defense, I know their defense was a little bit underrated, and I know Mike alluded to them losing some games, some close games. I think their defense is going to get better by default. And when I look at guys like Xavier Woods, Amani Hooker, Jeffrey Simmons, guys like that. Do you see what kind of improvement do you guys see, Damian and Mike? What do you see improving on their defense that gives you cause for optimism? Especially Mike, when you mentioned the 7 to 9 wins, which would be substantially better than what they had last year. Do you think their defense will be a big part of that, or will this be a team that's going to rely solely on their rookie quarterback and the top 5 wide receiving core in the league?
Shit.
Okay. As far as the team, I would say this. The biggest thing for them is going to be in the trenches, more specifically the offensive line. And the offensive line is going to have a major effect on the entire team if they are to win and play better. Here's why. They replaced, of course, the guys they had last year. Up front, they have technically 3 new starters. You got J.C. Latham at right tackle. You got Dan Moore Jr. at the left tackle. And you have Kevin Zeitler at guard, which Jackson Slater, the guy they drafted out of Sacramento State, will probably be the starter there next year because he definitely is showing up and showing out in camp. But as far as that team, if the run game is better, that means they're able to sustain possessions. If Cameron Ward is able to protect the football, that means they're able to sustain possessions, which means that defense is going to be on the field less and be fresher. And with Jeffrey Simmons, who's in the best shape of his career, he actually dropped 20 pounds. He looks like incredible. He looks like a physical specimen out there. He's 310, but he doesn't have a stomach. How is that possible?
That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I brought him up, because that's been kind of like a underrated topic during this offseason, is the kind of shape that guy is in. He's a beast.
He gets lost out there in Tennessee. I mean, he's such a dominant player.
If he was playing for Dallas or Philly or somebody like that, he'd be probably an all-pro. Maybe I would say stretch a little bit, but he's really, really good. I like him.
I will say with this defense, I will say that Amani Hooker is probably more underrated than anyone ever wants to mention. He had 5 interceptions last season, and no one probably knows he had 5 interceptions. He's a very, very talented safety and actually covers tight ends really well. and a good communicator on the back end. Actually, one of the longest tenure Titans, him and Jeffrey Simmons are actually. So, and also just to give you a little backup here, Amani Hooker's going into a free agent year right now. So I would suspect he's probably going to play his best football. And I will say, I got to give him props because him and my daughter had the same first name. So there you go.
Wow. So Damian, when you look at the running backs for the Titans, I know I'm kind of partial because you can see behind me, I got the Wolverines throw blanket here. They drafted Khalil Mullings. When you look at the Titans running game, do you think that they're going to be more successful if it's running back by committee, or do you think Tony Pollard will be able to kind of shoulder 70-80% of the load? Because I think everybody says a quarterback's best friend is a good running game, and I look at their depth chart and I kind of see. I think they got Julius Chestnut, but Khalil Mullings just kind of sticks out to me, being a Michigan fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at their running game, do you think it's going to be more running back by committee, or do you think Pollard can shoulder most of the load to be that feature back?
I think it's going to be running back by committee. You have other talented backs there, but the success of the running game all depends on that O-line. If that O-line is able to open holes for them. And also, if the passing game is better and more consistent, that opens up the run game as well, right? When you have Will Levis back there, kind of makes things a little tight on the running game because people aren't respecting the pass as much. Maybe the downfield passes, but not the passing game as a whole. If Cam Ward is able to show himself to be a good rookie quarterback, he doesn't have to be Jaden Daniels from last year,
right?
But just be a good quarterback, show you can make the right decision, show that you can be smart and not take too many sacks. That's going to help the running game as well. So I think the running game is going to have a better year because of that.
Don't they get Tajay Spears also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tajay Spears actually is out right now. He has a high ankle sprain, so he's hoping to be ready for the season. The thought was going into the season that it was going to be Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard kind of going 50-50. That was the actual plan going into the 2024 season. However, Tajay Spears could not stay healthy, and now we're starting off the same way of Tajay Spears not being healthy, and that's why Tony Pollard had a career high in yards and as well as usage last year because of that. And of course, he ended the season being injured. So they're trying to prevent that by going a little bit more 50-50, mixing in more backs, things like that. So that way Tony Pollard can finish the season strong and hopefully for Tennessee Titans and Titans fans, a playoff push. But, that's just basically what I've been told and basically what Brian Callahan has talked about in the press conferences.
So what you're describing now, I'm sorry, Prime, go ahead. You go first.
Oh, no, I was just going to make a wisecrack about Will Levis. I knew I couldn't trust him when I found out he put mayonnaise in his coffee. So,
I got a funny story about that, by the way, if you don't mind.
Oh, let me hear it.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, actually, we're at the game when he should first start, 2024 versus the Atlanta Falcons. And, everyone's posting stuff about Will Levis and he's out there, whatever. And I kept getting the mayonnaise people that sponsor him kept liking my tweets. So I kept trying to figure out, I was like, is this just me? And so I talked about it in the booth. I was like, in the media booth, I was like, okay. I mean, y'all are getting likes from mayonnaise, the mayonnaise folks. Everybody in the booth was like, yes, they're liking all of our tweets about Will Levis. So they were liking all of our tweets about Will Levis in his first start that day on the mayonnaise folks that sponsor him.
That is probably one of the most unusual things I've heard as far as what people put in their coffee. I mean, I've seen people, put like pancake syrup in their coffee and soy sauce and stuff like that. But when I heard the mayonnaise,
Did you see the cologne?
Yeah. I did not.
Yes, he had the mayonnaise cologne.
Oh, yeah.
You missed that.
But you know what? To his credit, he leaned into that.
It was at the he did a press conference. He had a press conference with the cologne out there last year. Yes.
It don't help that he looks like a jar of mayonnaise himself. I mean, he looks like an albino, for God's sake. He looked just ridiculous. So I mean,
he's a good guy. He's a good guy. It just it just didn't work out for him. And I actually went to his camp he did before he had shoulder surgery. So I actually was out there watching them do and he actually had some special guests, which would be the kids that are the Special Olympics kids. He had them out there.
Oh,
and he also had Play Like a Girl Foundation was also out there. And, he basically had them as a special guest. For the
all right. I dig it, man. Very nice. That's cool. I like hearing stuff like that. You don't hear enough good stories. Everybody likes to put the bad shit out there, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, the way you were kind of describing Tennessee toward the end there is the way I'm feeling, honestly, about Jacksonville this year. I feel like they can turn this thing around, man. Look, Liam Cohen coming in, that's fresh stuff right there, new offense. If Trevor Lawrence can live up somehow to being that first overall pick, you got Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter out there. They got a running back committee going on with, Bigsby and Etienne and a whole bunch of other guys, but also an underrated defense that was also put in bad positions last year. I do think Jacksonville can be one of those sneaky teams this year. We see it every year. It's like, whoa, where the fuck did they come from? I think that can happen right now. But Jacksonville, they were what, 4-13 last year?
Yeah, they're pretty sloppy.
Yeah, they were terrible. But I think they got the ingredients, though, man.
Oh yeah, they definitely have the ingredients. They have the ingredients every year. It's just a matter of, can Jacksonville stop doing Jacksonville things? They do Jacksonville things a lot, and you're like, come on, man. Come on, I know you just didn't do that, right? Stuff like that. But to me, I think the biggest thing there is they trying to, like Tennessee, they tried to fix their offensive line and get it where they have a solid running game with Travis Etienne, who's in a contract year, by the way, and a few other players that are there too. So to me, the offensive line, if that works out, that means you put less pressure on Trevor to actually throw the football and throw for them to win, even though he does have the second best wide receiver in the division, in my opinion, in Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter on the opposite side, which Travis Hunter is actually listed as first team wide receiver and second team cornerback, by the way, right now. So I just want to, but he will play a lot of cornerback, though, to be honest. It's just a listing. It really isn't that important, to be honest.
See, I want to get both your opinions. Steve, I'll go to you real quick first. Now, I've been going back and forth on this a lot because if you go up and you draft a number 2, then I think that you're doing that for a shutdown corner, not really for a wide receiver. But here's what I'm thinking more. The more I think about it, the more I hear out of camp is that he is going to play more offense. So, okay, put him in on the offensive downs, whatever. I mean, however many snaps he's going to get, and then putting him in on obvious passing situations on defense. Or do you think differently? Do you think he should play more D, less so? What's your opinion on Travis Hunter?
I was with you with that same thought. I thought they were getting him to play corner and maybe be some wide receiver. I thought it was going to be like when you saw Deion a couple times with Dallas. Like I thought it was going to be like that, where he played primarily corner, but every once in a while on certain packages you put him out there wide receiver. So I am surprised to hear that he's going to play more offense than defense. But it's going to be interesting because the reason you go up to get that guy is because you want him to play both sides. Right? You're not going up to get him just the corner or him just wide receiver.
Exactly.
When you make that move. So the thing is, you're going to see him on both sides, but you can't do it the way he did in college. I don't think that would be good. I think that would lead to injury in NFL, playing that many plays, and just the physicality of the game. I think it would be too much to do it full time the way he did at Colorado. So I think that it's surprising, but also if you see him at wide receiver being a solid number 2 behind Brian Thomas, it's hard to pass that up.
I know that could get pretty lethal out there. Prime, I want to hear what you got to say, but Mike, whatever insight you got on this over here, what do you think about the Travis Hunter situation?
Honestly, when he first came into camp, he started off as a wide receiver, was playing more wide receiver, didn't really play defense, but he was taking part in the meetings. Then, of course, OTAs happens. He does more defense than offense, which I'm like, okay, what are y'all trying to tell me, Jacksonville? So, to me, the way I look at it is he's going to play, offense first, in my opinion. But I think as the season goes on, it has potential of injuries, which you got to remember, they have Tyson Campbell back there. Tyson Campbell is highly paid, their number 1 corner, but he also gets injured a lot. If he gets injured again, then I believe Travis Hunter goes more defense and offense, or it splits more and more of, him playing, both sides of the ball more and more and not really getting that rest. And to me, the biggest thing in the physicality, the biggest thing is his energy. He has endless amounts of energy. He does not get tired. I mean, I've never seen anybody like this. He doesn't get tired. So with that being said, I could see him going out there playing a series of offense, then flipping over, playing a series of defense, and going back and forth and maybe getting like a few blows, but actually eventually being out there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look, you would love that at him. And again, that's why you go up and you draft him so high, so he does play both ways, like you guys both alluded to. Prime, I mean, what after every
contract situation is going to be fun in 5 years.
Oh, jeez, forget about it, man. Probably going to have to eventually go to one side. It's going to be which side is it? I don't know, Prime. What are you thinking with this? The more that we're hearing out of camp.
Well, the thing is that I was never real big on him coming into the NFL playing both sides of the football. I just don't think with the physicality, and that's my biggest thing, with the physicality and the energy, they talk, Mike was alluding to how much energy he's got, and I get all that. But at the same time, this is camp, this is preseason. What's it going to be when you roll into week 8, when you roll into week 9, when you roll into week 12? Is he going to be able to keep that same energy up long enough to be able to be effective on either side of the ball? So it's one thing for Liam Cohen and company to want to have him play both sides of the ball. But to me, it's going to be how effective he plays both sides of the ball. If I'm them, I play him more probably on the defensive side, to where he can initiate the physicality instead of, going up, because the first time he goes across the middle and he gets laid out by one, he takes a real NFL hit. That's going to be a wake-up call for him. And it's not going to, a lot of people think that he's just going to be able to come right in and have this huge impact. It's going to take him, in my opinion, a little bit of time to come in, adjust to the speed of the game, to the different, routes that he's going to have to run, to being able to cover some of the receivers that he's going to cover when you look at the schedule, and just being, accustomed to being in the NFL and the pressure that's going to be on him to be able to play both sides of the ball, because like you said, Jacksonville moved up to get him. So that immediately puts a lot of pressure on him. Not only the coaching staff to make sure that they got it right. Steve-O kind of takes a little shot there, but it's not so much the outfit. It's just the fact that it's difficult, because remember, they thought that that's what they were going to do with Charles Woodson, and Charles Woodson is one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen in the league, but he settled on defense. And I think that's kind of going to be, people are saying he's more Dion. I think he's more Charles Woodson than Dion, and eventually he's going to have to settle into that defensive back position, long term, as opposed to continually playing both sides of the ball. I just don't see that being realistic for him.
But for the first 4 years, Mike, you probably can do it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I will say this: I'll never say never, because every time I've said never, something's happened. So
yeah.
I'll say that I'll never say never. But one thing about him is he's coming into an NFL that's not as physical as it once was. Gone are the days when you go across the middle and you can just deck somebody and they just, they like, welcome to the NFL, stuff like that. But so I think with the less physical game, I think he could pull it off in terms of wide receiver defensive back. But you do make a good point. Even though it is less physical, it still is more physical than college football.
Yeah.
So, and two, and I think I'm more towards the camp of, okay, he plays receiver. Is he going to be that receiver that's going to give you 80, 90 yards a game? Or is he going to be that guy that you throw in as a decoy? Or is he going to be able to guy that comes in on third? I think they're going to, if they want to continually play him on both sides of the ball, he's going to have to find his niche, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Is he going to be that Julian Edelman type? Is he going to, that Amon-Ra St. Brown type, where he's like a really, really good possession receiver? Or is he going to be that explosive down the field guy? I think they're going to have to kind of focus in on what they really want him to do and what he does well, and kind of go from there. Defense is primarily instinct, in my opinion, and he's got really good instincts on defense. So I don't see the defensive transition being that difficult for him. But I just think the coaching staff needs to do a good job of trying to find what he does well and stick with that, instead of pretending that he's going to be this Larry Fitzgerald do everything type of receiver, because that's not going to happen.
I will tell you this offense will be attacking down the field. If you saw the Tampa Bay offense with Baker Mayfield, who put up a career high in touchdowns and yardage and things like that, this offense is going to attack down the field. So you can expect Travis Hunter to run deep routes, but you can also expect him to run crossing routes and things like that. So I will say he's probably going to run the deep to intermediate routes. That's probably going to be a specialty to start.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what they do with him, because, again, you jump up that high, you give up what they gave up. Just awesome. He could be one of that generational type of player that can just really do it both ways. And how long can he do it for? We'll see. But a lot of interesting stuff to get to over there. All right, no doubt. With time, and everything. I know that we're going along over here, Prime. Why don't you go with the next? Where you go to Houston or Indianapolis?
Houston Tech.
Man,
Oh no. Let's
either way.
Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts because there's an interesting.
Oh boy, fun.
The interesting thing there, of course, is the quarterback debate, and there's a quarterback there that is near and dear to my heart, Mr. Daniel Jones, who I still think is going to be the starting quarterback by midseason. When you guys look at the quarterback situation for the Colts, do you give Daniel Jones a realistic chance of getting that starting quarterback position, or do you think as long as Anthony Richardson is breathing and functional that quarterback spot is his? Because my opinion is that if Anthony Richardson loses his job to Daniel Jones, that might spell the end of Anthony Richardson, because if you can't beat out Daniel Jones for a starting quarterback position on a team that you were already the starting quarterback on, that doesn't bode well for him. So I just want to get your guys' opinion on the quarterback situation for the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh man, I'll go first on this one. It's definitely very interesting. You make a very, I guess, sobering take there of saying that this could be something that changes Richardson's career going forward if you lose to Daniel Jones, because he's so young. So it's kind of crazy to think of it from that aspect of it being able to change his career in that way. I do think because of how highly touted he was from just a physical standpoint, another team will take a chance on him being a starter. But it could be something where maybe it is another team that takes a chance on him and not the Colts. It's just tough because we saw him for a couple plays and then his pinky was going the wrong direction. So we just can't really, it's hard to really make a judgment on it. We know Daniel Jones is good enough to be a starter, and if your team is built the right way, he could win a little bit. We saw him, make the playoffs with you guys, but he's definitely not the answer. He's not the answer as far as going forward. This is our guy. So if you have him, that's admitting that you have a bridge guy and you're looking for the next guy. So I think that Richardson's going to get a chance because of that, because they don't want to make that admission too soon on this is over. We're going to the bridge guy, and then we have to start over as far as getting a quarterback. So I think Richardson will get the chance he'll have the chance to lose it basically because of that aspect in that situation.
Yeah, I agree with Damian. I'm sorry, I was going to say.
No, I was just saying that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because he's got all the gifts. You want to give him every single opportunity you possibly can, as long as he's healthy, to go out there and be the quarterback. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, I guarantee you there's probably 10 to 12 other teams out there that are going to say, you know what? I could fix him. I could bring him in. He could be a star. So a guy with that many gifts, Mike, he's going to be around for a bit, I think.
Well, he definitely is going to get chance after chance. I will say that he's actually, out there trying to put in the work. Getting injured is not something anybody plans. Of course, Jamarcus Russell, he was watching blank tapes, so we can't put him in the same category as Anthony Richardson. But it just, to me,
I love it.
To me, looking at this, it's Anthony Richardson's job to lose because they want him to win this battle. The thing is, they brought in Daniel Jones to make it look like a battle, but it really isn't a battle at all. It is Anthony Richardson, can you stay healthy? Can you stay upright? And can you stack some good days together? Now, he got injured first with the pinky, and I thought he broke his pinky. And if that was the case, I was going to say, yeah, Daniel Jones is about to be the starter. But thankful for him, it was dislocated and not broken. But, he definitely is living a little dangerously right now because they're both having up and down days when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts camp. He's going to have the next game, better performance, so that way he can say, okay, you're definitely the starter. But eventually, I think he's going to be the starter, and he's going to have to have some truly bad games for Daniel Jones to have to come in.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about tap out game. I'm not talking about tap out game. I'm just talking about an actual game.
But how long too before the coaching staff, who is kind of directly tied to him, you got to kind of start looking at that. Like, okay, how long do we go with Anthony Richardson before we realize, okay, maybe this experiment is over with? Like you said, Daniel Jones is definitely not the long-term answer. It's not, he's not going to turn into a franchise quarterback all of a sudden. But the coaching staff has a lot riding on this as well. And it's like, okay, do we go week 7? Do we go week 10? Do we just go another full season and just say, okay, we'll cash this one in? Because how many, you're not playing with house money, but only for so long. And I think, when there's going to be a lot of decisions that the coaching staff has to make going over the course of the season. They're going to constantly have to evaluate him week in and week out just to make sure that, okay, we're on the right path. Even if, like you say, if he has a couple bad games, but he's still, they're still being competitive. But at the same time, you want to start winning. And I'm just concerned that long term, I don't think Anthony Richardson, he wasn't that great in college. He was very raw. And I know, like you say, you watch a lot of SEC football, as did I. Mm-hmm. But to me, he was very raw. But there was something there. But it's just like, if I'm the coaching staff, it's like, we got a lot vested in this guy, and we're all tied to him. So there's a chance that they may all end up leaving together. So, but I'm just not 100% sold on him.
Well, hey, you have every right to not be. To be honest, you have every right to not be. I'll also add that when it comes to Anthony Richardson, I think that Shane Steichen did him a disservice last season. The reason why I think he did him a disservice is you have a running back that is a top 5 running back in the NFL. Use him
put that on a
to
t-shirt.
do everything off of him, so that way Anthony Richardson can get comfortable. But no, you have to show up that you got strong man in the pocket. And when strong man shows you bad stuff, then you get mad at strong man. That's why I feel like Steichen is somewhat to blame for where we are right now as well. And more than likely, if it doesn't work out, he could be losing his job as well.
Yeah, well, new ownership over there, as Jim Irsay unfortunately has passed away, and now his children are taking over. Maybe they're going to say, enough is enough. That's it.
Jason, also, I will let you know. I don't know if you saw this part, but his daughter, she wears headsets sometimes on the sideline, so she would actually be listening to the plays. So yeah, so she's very aware of what's going on when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts. So Shane Steichen, you better have it together. She knows what's going on.
I think too, what you got to look at is you look at their defensive depth chart so far this camp season. They got a lot of guys that are questionable or hurt or banged up. I mean, so there's going to be it's going to be a struggle. You talk about win totals. I probably put the over under on them at 5.
They'll still mess around between 7 and 9. They always do.
Somehow they do. But somehow they're like 7, 8,
I will say this: Juju Brents is the all hurt team. He is on the all hurt team. Every year he is hurt.
Every year.
It's a knee, it's a hamstring, it's something. He's 6'3", plays corner, but he can never stay healthy. But I'm kind of sad this year because one of my all-time sports names got hurt before he could start his rookie season. Justin Wiley was going to be a starter for them at corner. He was actually a guy to get drafted this year. No one expected him to be a starter, but he was running with the first team. Then he tore his ACL in the first preseason game. He's going to be my all-name team. Justin Uchiwali was what I was going to call him. But I got to wait till next year now.
I love it.
Not Adam Amori. What's his name? He's got to be on your all-name team. That's just like a second or third string quarterback or corner on their safety on their team.
Oh, Amin Yori. Yeah, Amin Yori.
Amin Amori or something like that.
Look, that sounds too close to the guy in the Texans, man. That sounds too close to him.
So
speaking of the Texans, right? Hold on. Yeah. Let's do the Texans, man. I mean, they won the division last 2 years. C.J. Stroud, Damian has been doing his thing. They bring in Christian Kirk this year. Their defense is top-notch. I don't even forget about the AFC South in general because they are clearly the favorites. I mean, will they lose that division? It's certainly possible.
It's very possible.
Happen, injuries, you never know, but they're clearly the favorite. How about in the AFC in general? Can C.J. Stroud in his third year, all these guys put everything together, D'Amico Ryans, who I love, can they make this thing work and actually contend with Buffalo, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City, all these guys?
It's not their fault, but I'm going to say no. It's not their fault because Buffalo is so good. Yeah. Baltimore is so good. Kansas City is so good, right? And you have Cincinnati, who could be a team that could go in there as well if their defense is a tad bit better this year, right? So it's not their fault, but there's so much competition in the AFC right now that they're just going to be that team that wins their division, or we believe will win their division. And then from there, for them to make a shot to the AFC Championship game would be shocking to get through that competition I just mentioned.
Yeah, he's got a good point because you know what? Out of all those teams that he mentioned, the quarterbacks, I like CJ Stroud, but prime, those other quarterbacks are better than him. And that's where a lot of it starts.
Yeah, we talked about this on the show a lot. It's like, you know, we blame Josh Allen. Oh, he can't win it. We blame Lamar Jackson. Oh, he can't win it. But there's that number 15 guy that plays for the can, and he cut his hair, by the way. Is there. You know,
the 1990s dude was over.
Right. He's kind of like, he's kind of like, you know, Barkley and Malone and all those guys. He's like Barkley and Malone and all those guys when they were, you know, when Jordan was in the league, or all the guys they had to play when Gretzky was in the league, or, you know, Tom Brady. You know, it's like Dee alluded to. It's not that they're a bad team. They're just, it's like they're a good team at the wrong time, because right now, even if somebody takes Kansas City down, do you really think it's going to be the Houston Texans? Probably not. It's probably going to end up being Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I know Profit's real high on the Chargers and Broncos. And
it wasn't until Rashawn Slater went down. I'm pissed off.
That was pretty bad. But yeah, when you guys look at the defense, and I love the Texans defense with Mario Edwards and Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson. I mean, they're stacked.
Jalen Petrie in there too, man.
Yes, sir. So when you guys look at the Texans defense, if their offense struggles for whatever reason, or takes a minute to kind of get back in the groove when they get, you know, everybody back healthy and 100%, you know, kind of like they were clicking, you know, a little bit, was the year before last and last year before everybody started getting hurt. Do you think that defense could be like the top 5 defense, and the type of defense that can carry them into like a road playoff game, maybe against like a Baltimore, and maybe get a win and take that next step? Because my criticism of the Texans is, like Damian alluded to a little bit, you know, you win a division, you get a playoff game, but can you win a playoff game on the road, get to, you know, maybe catch lightning in a bottle and get to the AFC Championship game?
I honestly do not see them catching lightning in the bottle. However, I will say that defense is going to be mighty, mighty tough. Now, before CJ Gardner-Johnson got hurt, I said they had the top safety group in the NFL. Now CJ Gardner-Johnson is hurt. He's not out for the year. He did not tear his ACL. That came out. However, he will be out for a while. So they did sign Jalen Mills. I'm pretty sure Eagles fans and Patriots fans know him really, really well. The Green Goblin, by the way. But as far as you know, the Texans, they still have a very solid safety group. I've heard Jimmy Ward's got some legal troubles that potentially could affect his play on the field too. So that could potentially happen. So a little bit of depth issues there, but they still have Jalen Petrie, Kalen Bullets there at safeties if they need to put them there. And you know, defensively, they have enough to carry this offense while the offensive line figures itself out. That's the one thing we didn't talk about. The offensive line with this team was putrid last year. You had CJ Stroud doing his best Michael Vick impression, trying to run around and throw the football.
Minus the athleticism.
CJ Stroud there you go. He doesn't have that quite that level of athleticism. So, you know, he's making decisions on the run, and that wasn't necessarily great for him. This year, they bring in Cam Robinson, which I'm pretty sure Jacksonville fans will be glad to see him 2 times a year, because they saw him on their team and they did not like him. And then they also brought in Ushery as well, who is I think he was a 2nd-round pick, an offensive tackle. He will probably be the guy that starts at the other tackle position opposite of Cam Robinson. Of course, you've got a few other guys as well, Laken Tomlinson, a veteran. So this team, the offensive line, as they're taking time to gel and get together, if that's better, the defense is going to be fine. I just worry about them being able to protect CJ Stroud, because if he gets time, he's got Nico Collins on one side, who's 6'3", 6'4". You've got Jaden Higgins, who's about 6'3", 6'4" as well. And then also talking to talking to Cecil Shorts, who, you know, former NFL wide receiver for the Jags and the Texans. He actually was like, look, this guy's big, but he runs routes like he's a little guy. That's scary. So, you know, you got those 2 guys out there running routes. That's nuts. And then you didn't even throw the tight end Schultz in. You haven't even thrown him in, which I hated that Brevin Jordan got hurt, because he was the most athletic tight end. He tore his ACL for the 2nd season in a row, be out for the year. So, yeah. But they're still going to be solid at the tight end position. I hated that Brevin Jordan is gone, because that guy, anytime he catches the tight end, he can take to the house. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still. I do enjoy that. I do enjoy what they have together, though. I do enjoy that.
And then too, Damian, they got a nice 1-2 punch when they're healthy, and Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb.
Keywords when they're healthy.
When they're healthy.
Yeah.
You hope, but when you look at that combination, they have the potential to be something like what the Lions have with like Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, because we talk about it in the show a lot that a lot of teams, the running back is back. There was a time where people kind of frowned, we're not drafting the first round back, all that stuff, and kind of looked like the running back position was devolving. But when you look at what the Texans have on the ground, what's your assessment of just when you just look at the potential of what Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon could be for the success of this team?
The potential is amazing, but like Jason and Mike said, it's potential because of health, right? If Nick Chubb, there's a big thing there with his knee and prior history. Joe Mixon dealt with some injuries last year, so it's a big thing when it comes to their health. But if they're healthy, Joe Mixon is good by himself when healthy.
Right.
Nick Chubb, when healthy, is good by himself. So you have both of these guys healthy.
Yeah.
That running game can be very, very dynamic. Very dynamic. And again, that will help CJ Stroud have a season that's close to his rookie year than his second year from a stat standpoint, when you have that running game being consistent like that. So the potential is definitely there for them to be a very, very nice running game.
It is, man. No doubt about it. The potential is there.
Jason?
And go ahead.
Can I throw one thing in there? I will tell you that currently before the season, Joe Mixon in the offseason was dealing with a foot issue. He's still dealing with a foot issue.
Yeah.
And now some people are trying to say that, they're just making, D'Amico Ryans was kind of big, kind of pointing out, saying that people were just saying whatever, it can't get clicks and things like that about Joe Mixon. But the reality is Joe Mixon's dealing with a foot issue, and it could affect him going into week 1. If that's the case, then you have Joe Mixon with a foot issue, and you also have Nick Chubb coming off an injured last season in Cleveland. So to me, that's concerning, especially if this lingers on past week 1 for Joe Mixon. Then you're gonna have to start thinking about who's in your backfield and who you're gonna be able to pick up. Because, but also I will say they do also have Damian Pierce. People have forgot about him, but he's still there. Yeah. So even though I will say in the offense that they're running currently and ran last year, he might not be able to do the type of things they need. However, he is a proven guy that can run up in a hole. We just got to find the hole first. That's the biggest thing, the reason why he kind of fell out of favor.
Yeah, Joe Mixon made a big difference last year. We saw it with that team. He was an absolute animal. There's no question about it. So, Damian, Houston, clearly the favorite in that division. Are they going to win it, and how do you see it 1 through 4?
I'm got Houston winning it, so I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going to go with Jacksonville second. I think Jacksonville has a chance to be a wild card team. I'm going to go Colts third, then Tennessee fourth.
I think I agree with him. That Tennessee Colts is kind of tough, Mike. I'm not sure. What do you got?
I'll say this, besides the first team in this division, Houston probably will win the division. But anything can happen with the other two teams. Because Jacksonville could still be Jacksonville. Tennessee could be better than you think they are. And then the Colts could either be great or they could be really, really bad, depending on the quarterback position. So I would say the steadiest of the three is definitely the Colts when it comes to winning games without their quarterback. It wouldn't surprise me if the Colts ended up second at some point, or it wouldn't surprise me if the Jaguars did. But for right now, of course, I know I'm rambling, but I'll say the Texans won. I'll give the Jaguars second, and I'll go with the order of the Colts third and the Titans fourth. But I will say there is nothing that is certain when it comes to the AFC South. One thing that is certain is that chaos will preside over it, especially when Jacksonville and Houston play each other this year, because Azeez Al-Shaair will be going back to a place that has a lot of good, interesting memories for him from last year. I'll just leave it at that.
And I'll just end the AFC South discussion on this. It's time, Trevor Lawrence. It's time.
Oh, it's been time.
You got the hair, you got the you got the hair, you got the charisma, you got all that stuff, man. But it's time. It's really time.
And this also is the season, or next season, I'm sorry, is when his ginormous deal kicks into place. So it's time. It's going to be time, for better or for worse, for all Jacksonville fans. So if they thought if this doesn't work out, they could be going down the Blaine Gabbert road, which that will be very, very frustrating for a lot of Jaguars fans.
Big.
Yes, I brought all the name back there. There you go,
man. Clean.
Mike, can you stick around, or you got to go?
I got maybe like 5 minutes.
All right, hang for a few minutes, because we're about to jump over to the NFC South. I definitely want to get your opinion, but D, this is your division right now, man. So I'm going to hop over to you first, bro, and ask you what the hell's going on with your quarterback, Tyler Shock, and is this thing going to shock the world? Is it going to work out? What the hell's happening right now?
I'll just put it this way: I'm very glad that I'm a fan of the NFL and not just a fan of the Saints.
Early shots fired.
They're really fans of their team, but outside their team, they don't really watch NFL like that. I'm glad I have the whole league, because if I was just a fan of the Saints, it'd be a very, very depressing season. It's not looking good at all. Spencer Rattler, I've been saying for a while, is just not that guy when it comes to being a starting quarterback.
Nah, man.
He was barely that guy in college. It was just default, really. But
I couldn't stand. Yeah, I definitely couldn't stand him in both places he was at in college. I couldn't stand him.
So the thing is, when you see him being that stature, that small stature, and not being like an A+ athlete, it's just not going to work out for him as far as being a starting quarterback. I will give him credit; he's not scared of the moment at all. Like, he's somebody who he believes that he's that guy. So as a backup quarterback, you like that, right? So I wouldn't mind him being a backup quarterback going forward. Tyler Shough, it is to be determined with him. He has a really good arm. We saw that on the pass in week 1 of preseason against the Chargers on that deep throw. Definitely has a beautiful deep pass. But when it comes to him, he has to be pretty much, I wouldn't say great right away, but he has to be pretty good right away, because he's going to be 26 going into the rookie year. And that's something that doesn't give you much time as far as development and showing that you can be that guy. We can't just go off and just splashes. He has to show consistency if he gets that chance in week 1. If Spencer Rattler wins the job, then we know he's not the guy. You have to beat out Spencer Rattler.
No doubt.
If he doesn't, so then we know, okay, we're going into next year, and maybe we're panning for Manning, or so whoever the other quarterback is.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Archie Manning to Arch Manning, it'd be perfect.
In New Orleans, that'd be. But I think Tyler Shough too was he was moving up a lot of people's draft boards and stuff like that rapidly during the combine. So it's not like all this attention that he's getting is new. It's just that a lot of people, like you say, that aren't necessarily New Orleans Saints fans, they're kind of just getting the gist of this now. But he was moving up a lot of people's draft boards and combine boards, a few months back. So what he's, I think eventually he will beat out Spencer Rattler, and if he can't, oh my God, I think one of the four of us could go down there and put on a good show and beat out Spencer Rattler. So, but yeah, it's a tough time to be a Saints fan. You do have Chris Olave, you got Cam Jordan on defense, you got a couple pieces that you can kind of lean on a little bit, but it's all going to be about your quarterback play. I think Derek Carr retiring the way he did, I think kind of set them back a little bit. But now, you got a decent coaching staff, and this is time for them to kind of earn their money a little bit. But I don't think you can go long term with Spencer Rattler as your guy.
Probably not the way to go, Mike. I mean, let's hear your opinion, and then I want you to tell us why you're leaving early and what you got to do tonight, and your show and everything that's going on, bro.
Well, I will say that when it comes to the Saints, I'm gonna send my prayers out to Damian Adams and the whole Saint Nation. It's just been a mess of trying to figure out who's quarterback, figuring out the mystical salary cap that isn't. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's making money appear out of no way. I'm like, man, they're magicians down there. I thought they were saints. But
it's not the money. It's not where it's coming from. Is where's it going? How did they end up negative over the cap? And it's like it's just bad down there.
It's sorry, that crazy black magic that they do, man. I'm telling you.
Voodoo child. But anyway, as far as the Saints, the quarterback position, I just throw it all away. Throw them all away. Just put Taysom Hill back there and let me just run Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, right.
Just do that. But to me, Wildcat, him and Kamara, that would be pretty nice. But yeah, I feel bad for Chris Olave. I do feel bad for him because he's a very talented wide receiver. Yeah. He just can't get solid quarterback play. And I'm like, man. I mean, even with David Carr there, he still didn't get solid quarterback play for the whole season. But yeah, I feel bad for him in terms of that. And the Saints, God bless them, they'll be probably drafting a quarterback next year. So
Yeah. Or saving
they'll
some money by leaving, though. That's true. That is true.
I would say that for them, in terms of if you had to pick me wins for them, I would say I'd give them about 5 to 7, maybe. I think
7.
that
That's
defense can
generous.
give them
That's very
some. I
generous.
think the defense, but you also got to remember the division they're in. The division
I was
is
gonna say
exactly
the
the greatest
not,
division known to man or something.
it's not a
So,
murderer's row. It's not the NFC East by any stretch of the imagination.
right. That if the division was tougher, I'd be like, yeah, they give me 5 or lower. But just because it's that division,
Damian.
anything can happen in that division.
They got to pull out some
honestly,
wins,
I got them 1 win. I got them with 1 win against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's always guaranteed that they're probably going to split.
They're going back to when they used to wear the bags over their head. They're going back to that probably sooner than later.
No, they're wearing Gucci bags over their face now. They just got the eyes out there. They got the Super Bowl, so they got to upgrade.
Yeah.
I love it. Mike, tell us what's going on before you get out of here, man.
All right. Well, I've got Locked On NFL Draft. Damian Parsons coming on with me tonight. Talk a little bit about famous name Damian, right? But but he's coming on with me. Talk a little AFC South. Got down to the players that are actually got drafted this year, and of course break down what his thoughts are on the AFC South through his eyes, through the draft eyes that he basically puts on everything. So that's what I got going on.
Love it, man. Love it. Tour in the AFC South. We had a couple of days a week.
Yep, definitely. Season's cranking up, so I'll switch it back to 2 days a week. I kind of laxed a little bit there in the summer, but yeah, it's time to go on ahead and get to this race to 400. So we got to go ahead and knock it out.
It is time. It is time. All right, we got a few more things to go over with Damian, but Mike, we appreciate it, man. We know you got
having you on, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
See Mike next time, man. There'll definitely be more of Mike Patton coming on. The general, baby, we appreciate it, man. No doubt about it. So much appreciated right there. D, we got more to go over with you. I'm sorry, man. I don't want to keep you too late, but it's NFL.
Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it.
Let's do it. Yo, all right. I don't want you to give away any fantasy secrets. I'm asking you for real now. Why is Chris Olave ranked so low? Like, is he not healthy at all? Like, I don't get it, because he showed me a lot of promise, and not just promise, but even with Derek Carr, he was a really good wide receiver. So I don't get why he's not being talked about as much as one of the better receivers in the league.
Well, it's the rest of the offense, right? Who's going to throw him the ball? Is the offensive line going to protect the quarterback enough for them to throw him the ball? Like, is everything outside of him? And also, he had 2 bad concussions last year, two scary ones. So it's also that point where now people are scared to pick him because they don't know if he's going to stay healthy. Because, the concussion thing like that is scary. And because he's not a quarterback, he didn't get the attention of like a Tua, but they were both like scary concussions that he got.
Yeah,
so right. I think that all of that combined is leading to him not being talked about amongst the elite guys.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. It's too bad, because now you're having like 2 really good wide receivers from New Orleans disappearing. Michael Thomas and, God forbid, now Chris Olave. I don't know what Rashid Shaheed's going to be.
Hey, just to bring back some nostalgia, I was able to pull out my Brandon Cooks jersey out the closet.
Not Brandon Cooks. Debbie Henderson, ladies and gentlemen. Did we?
Brandon with an I. You gotta love it.
Yes,
you gotta love funny. It. Yeah. Prime. He has been a New Orleans Saints fan his whole life. He loves his team in and out, and knows his team in and out, and he's always objective, which I love. He doesn't just give you puff pieces about the New Orleans Saints all the time. He is totally objective about the team.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Got to be objective, man. You got to be objective. You got to be able to.
Not everybody is.
No, that's true. That's very true. But you have to be able to, from my position, especially like once you start like covering teams, it changes your perspective on like being a fan. You have to find that medium between being a fan and being a reporter. I try to do that.
No doubt.
There you go. Steve-O saying paging Michael Thomas to the Niners.
Oh,
let me ask you real quick, since we're talking about the Saints. I know we got other stuff to get to, but if Michael Thomas was able to avoid the injuries that he suffered during his career, where do you think he would have ranked? Not necessarily all time, but was there ever a time in your opinion where Michael Thomas was like a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league? And where, if he wasn't as hurt as much, where do you think he would have ended up maybe all time?
No, there definitely was a time where he was a top 3 to 5 guy in the league. Those first 4 years, he's as productive as any receiver in history.
right?
During those first 4 years.
Broke the record, right?
Yeah. Broke the record for receptions in the season, was constantly climbing up in yards. Those first 4 years, he increases every year, those first 4 years. And then you see the injury happen. So I think he would have been on a track to be an all-timer. I would not going to say anything crazy like top 10, but if he stays on that same track, probably a top 20 receiver of all time. And you look at those first 4 years, and people are going to hear that and think that's crazy, but go back and look at those stats for those first 4
It was
seasons.
wild, man.
Yeah, he put up crazy stats those first 4 years.
Steve-O saying he thought he was going to be him. You know who I kind of compare him to a little bit, who was so freaking great but just could not stay on the field for a lot of reasons? Josh Gordon. Remember how great he was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cleveland? Wow.
For Cleveland of all teams.
Wow.
I mean,
the one solid season he gave us, it was unreal.
Yeah. When he played, he was unbelievable, but he just could not stay on the field.
And he was as versatile as anybody in the league. I mean, he could do it. He could do it all. He could run all the routes.
Tom Brady wore number 12 because of him.
That's funny.
Yo, D, real quick with the Saints, one more thing. Can Cameron Jordan still lead this defense to still being good enough where they're going to be in games? And I don't want to say embarrass themselves. I mean, but they're getting older, man.
No, he's no longer in that type of situation where he's going to be leading the defense. Demario Davis is still good, but he's also getting older. Tyrann Mathieu retired. So, it shows you where he was at.
Sure.
But then you give Chase Young the money that you gave him again. What was their thought process behind? I mean, there's other people that were out there. Why do you decide to give Chase Young what you gave him again? Considering he's not been the guy that we thought he would be. Well, that a lot of other people thought he would be coming out of Ohio State. What do you think their thought process was behind that?
I think last year he really started to show some of that potential that people talked about. Right, there were times during last season where a game against Washington, maybe he was extra motivated for that one, but that one stands out to me where he really took over the game at points. And Washington, who was way better than us last year, only beat us by a point. And a big part of that was the dominance that Chase Young showed in that game. And I think that late season work, he showed potential where maybe he can live up to not. I think he was second overall pick. I don't know if he's going to ever get to that potential level again, but he could be someone who can be your top defensive end. And I think that's why they went ahead and got him before other teams got hip to it.
Yeah. All right. One more. Alvin Kamara. What's his story?
Alvin Kamara is still very good. Very good, but he's running behind the O-line. They can't really open up holes for him. He doesn't have the type of quarterback like he had with Breeze where he can truly show off his receiving capabilities. He's going to have some really good games. There's going to be some games where if you have him in fantasy, like, Alvin Kamara ran for 120 yards today. But he's not going to have those games where, for him back in the day, a good game was he ran for 75, also received for 75 yards.
Yeah.
He got to a touchdown or two.
Yeah.
Those are not going to happen, and it's not his fault. It's the team around him.
I hear you, man. Yeah. Prime, he's on point again, being as objective as ever, bro. That's how he does it. He's the real deal. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
He is. All right, Prime. You want to jump to another team? What else we got?
Yeah, let's discuss the elephant in the room here. Let's go to the Atlanta Falcons. So when I look at the Atlanta Falcons, and Jay and I have talked about this, when I look at the Atlanta Falcons, I see a team that kind of underachieves considering the talent that they have on paper. When you look at Michael Penix supplanting Kirk Cousins, and the elephant in that room is still Kirk Cousins, what do you see potentially? You got Drake London, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson. Your defense is okay. It's not the greatest. Do you think Michael Penix, let's just ask the question, can be that guy to lead the Atlanta Falcons for the next 6-7 years and really give them legitimate chance to win that division and start getting into the playoffs? Because you took Kirk Cousins as, all the money you're paying. I mean, you decided to bench him and bring in your first round draft pick. That said a lot. And we know Kirk Cousins didn't perform up to the contract, but to yank him as early as you did and just make that decision, because my thing is, if you were going to do that, why sign Cousins in the first place? But back to my original question, do you think when you look at Michael Penix, what you've seen so far, do you think that he could potentially be that guy? Or is this kind of like another Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts situation?
No, I truly believe Michael Penix could be that guy. Watching the games that he played in late in last year, you saw the flashes of surprising athleticism because he didn't run that much in college. And you saw him moving around in the pocket and being able to move outside the pocket, surprisingly athletic. Was also somebody who that arm is crazy. Like he has a gun on him. Like some of the throws he would make, and I'm not talking about the deep stuff. I'm talking about the balls that he would drive in there. Like those throws, you're like, okay, this is different. Like how fast the ball got from his hands to the receiver hands is crazy. The game against Carolina, the last game, him and Bryce Young went back and forth. You saw like, okay, there's potential here for him to be really, really good. And I think he could be good this year. And because of that, I got Atlanta being a team that's going to fight for a wild card spot this year.
Do you see him? Does he remind you at all of another left-handed quarterback that played for the Atlanta Falcons, a few years back?
He doesn't remind me of this.
I had to ask the question.
That was different, man. That was people who miss Vic's prime. Please go.
Oh my God, it's still one of the most underrated. I still think Vic's not all time, but I still think Michael Vick might be one of the most under. And who knows what would have happened, with the 2 years that he was out with the dogfighting thing and everything. But I still think Michael Vick doesn't get the love and the respect that he deserves. Especially, he basically had 2 careers. But prime Michael Vick was must-see TV.
I don't think that Michael Vick became the quarterback that he became in Philly without actually going to prison. I'm not saying that was a great thing for him necessarily, but I mean, he changed.
And Andy Reid, and I think them guys, they had a lot to do with that. They because he felt obligated. They took a chance on him when a lot of other teams were, kind of shying away from him. This isn't a Deshaun Watson situation by any stretch, but I think he felt, rejuvenated and respected when Andy Reid and those guys took a shot at, took a chance on him. So it was, and Donovan McNabb had a lot to do with that.
If they didn't run into Aaron Rodgers that year in the playoffs, they would have gone to the Super Bowl, I think. They just happened to run into Green Bay, who was just really hot at that time, coming in as a wild card team, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. But Michael Vick, man, that was pretty amazing stuff, no doubt. Regarding also Atlanta, I am a real big fan of Raheem Morris. I just love the guy, He's not the greatest coach that ever lived, obviously, but he's a really good coach, and he's been around a few different teams, and he's been coordinator a whole bunch of times, and he's a player's coach. So how far does that take your team where you're a player's coach, maybe you get away with a little bit more stuff, but your team really does love you, and he's been around for a while? How much does that weigh into your decision of Atlanta being maybe a potential wild card team?
Now, I think he's turned into a pretty good coach. I think the experience of what he went through before as being a head coach and then being able to be a coordinator and learn from other head coaches and coming back, I think it's really shaped him well. And you see it with this team, the way that he leads it. And that's a big part of it. That's why I think that the way Penix showed last year and the development he could take this year, combined with their coaching, I think this team could be one of the surprise teams of the league this year.
There you go, Prime. He's hot on Atlanta. He's hot.
I absolutely hate to say it.
Right. Steve-O kind of asked the question too. He's over here he and I are going back and forth in the chat. And as far as trading Kirk Cousins, but he thinks that you should probably keep both. And I've kind of alluded to this too, is if he's going to, he says next to Mac Jones, because I say Kirk is probably the best backup quarterback in the league, certainly the most expensive. But do you, when you're looking at the Falcons, what do you do with that whole situation? How long do you keep Cousins around before this becomes awkward?
I think what's going to happen, unfortunately, there's going to be an injury somewhere in training camp, maybe week 1, week 2. There's going to be an injury somewhere. And I think a team is going to reach out and give them more than what they expect for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he always gets his money, right? I mean,
always. That's one thing you can say about Kirk Cousins, man. There's not one quarterback that I can remember that manipulates the franchise tag or the salary cap, or, I won't call him mediocre because he's a little bit better than that. But Kirk Cousins is probably over the last 8 years the highest paid quarterback pound for pound in the league. Until these guys started getting these $60 million quarterbacks or contracts like Dak. But yeah, it's crazy, man.
Getting fully guaranteed deals when no one else was.
Wow. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
We're not talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about Kirk Cousins from Michigan State. Stop. Stop.
See, I'm kind of on the path that you're going. I mean, somebody, maybe even Matt Stafford. If he doesn't make it out, I don't know. Maybe they stick with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'm on the same path as you. A team is going to lose their quarterback, unfortunately, because it always happens, whether it's week 1, 2, 3, or 4. And Kirk Cousins is a seasoned vet at this point. And yeah, you bring him in, and unfortunately, you have to pay a chunk of that salary because Atlanta's not going to pay you all of that. I mean, otherwise they're going to keep him. So I'm with you on that, man. That's a good call.
Yeah.
McNiner says the Falcons are waiting for a QB desperate team to trade for Cousins, which that's kind of what Steve-O was alluding to. It's gonna happen.
He might as well go to Cleveland. They need another quarterback.
That's where I thought. That's why I was calling that all off season that he'd end up going back and reuniting with Kevin Stefanski. But they got plenty of quarterbacks right now.
17 quarterback. God.
I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to get hurt, but I can see the Jets maybe making that move.
That's interesting. Wow. That is interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be.
Not even getting hurt. Just the Jets. Aaron Glenn and company feel that they got something going, but they look at Justin Fields like, we just don't think it's him to get over the hump. And damn what it'll do to Justin Fields psychologically. But in this league, it's all about winning. That's a really good call. That's a really good call.
Yeah, but you know what? We're talking about Kirk Cousins. Now, but 37 years old, he's not going to take you anywhere. I mean, he's a bridge quarterback at best at this point.
Well, no, but in that division, I mean, he would instantly be the second best quarterback in that division, depending on what we think of Drake May.
Yeah, that depends on Drake May.
Well, no, wait, I take that back. Because Tua's in that division too.
Yeah,
I forgot about that, and that could be a possibility.
And look, I don't want to get off track.
Injury.
I don't want to get off track with you, but I think the Jets are going to surprise some people. They have a very good roster. They have a good offensive line, a good defensive line. I love Aaron Glenn coming in there. I think that they're going to be a whole different team, man. I really do.
You know what I called the Jets? I called the Jets the parlay busters. I think they're going to bust a lot of parlays this year.
Oh, I like that, man.
Yeah, they're not going to be the team that's going to surprise people, make the playoffs, but they're going to get a few upsets where people parlay is going to be like, really? The Jets is the reason my parlay?
Right.
Got a 13-leg parlay, and then you go 12 for 13 because of the Jets.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
So what's next? Which team we want to hit next, guys?
So let's go to Tampa before we finish out with Carolina, because Tampa seems to be the favorite in my opinion. I like them a lot. I mean, even adding on to the offense, the kid from Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. I mean, that's a nice thing, man, to go along with Godwin, who's a little banged up right now, and that's another reason why you get him. But you still got Mike Evans, who's a 1,000-yard machine. Baker Mayfield playing better than he's ever played. Now all of a sudden, Bucky Irving comes over with Rashad White. You got plenty of offense. You feel like you got good enough things on defense with that linebackers, Levante David, so on and so forth. I don't have to run down the whole roster, but Todd Bowles being the head coach, being there for a while with that team, also a defensive-minded guy who gets that defense playing well. Not only are they contenders to win that division, but they're a team you don't want to play in the playoffs, probably, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They have everything there. Baker's playing the best football of his career.
Yeah.
They have everything to be a team that is the surprising team in the NFC Championship game. Like, oh, Tampa Bay's in the NFC Championship game. Like, they have everything to be that team.
Yeah, they really do.
They gave the Lions all they wanted 2 years ago in the playoffs, and Tampa Bay is that one team that always just kind of makes you nervous, especially because I don't think anybody thought that Baker Mayfield would lead them the way he did, when he first got there, lead them to the playoffs, lead them to, they gave the Lions that Tampa Bay game kept me on pins and needles the entire game. And I think the division they'll win easily. I think they could potentially go undefeated, maybe 5-1 in the division, because I think they're just that much better than everybody else. But as Jay mentioned, all the weapons and stuff, and the coaching and the familiarity now, and I think Baker's confidence continues to grow the longer he's with Tampa Bay, because they're showing more and more faith and more belief in him that he is their guy. And that goes a lot for a guy like Baker, who kind of feeds off of respect. And, if you need me, if you show you need me, then I'll show you how good I can be. And Baker's, I look for another big season from him. I know a lot of people got over last year on him from a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah.
You got Godwin in Ibuka, and Mike Evans is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We talk about what Michael Thomas potentially was, but I still don't think Mike Evans gets the love that he deserves, considering what he's done for the last decade. But I got them winning 11 games, maybe 12. And I got them winning that division easily, and I would not be shocked, like you said, D, if you look up and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I got no problem with that, man. Nobody thought Washington would be in it last year, but Tampa's a team that you think actually can get there. And if the Rams are going to have problems with Matt Stafford, right?
Yep.
I mean, that
was my darling pick.
And now I'm not so sure, right?
Yep.
Philly, definitely they're locked in there. We think Washington's going to be a good team. I kind of think Dallas will be a good team, but other than that, I mean, you look at the Bucs, man. They are a team that can contend with any of these other teams. They can score on anybody. They can play defense. They're coached well. I don't know, man. I'm with you, D. This team can go really far. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in the NFC. It's decently tough. I mean, they'll have a few tough teams to get through, but I think they can do it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Carolina, man. This team started to play much better last year. Bryce Young started to play much better last year.
Yeah.
Now they got some young receivers in there. What do you think about Carolina? Maybe not a playoff team, right? But better than what they were last year, I'm thinking, because their record was what were they? 5-12, I think.
5-12.
Yeah.
I think they're better than that, D, huh?
Yeah, I can see them getting 7 wins this year. I think that defense still has a long way to go.
You're right.
They did add to it, but I think that defense still has a long way to go. Bryce Young is going to be the key this year, right? That's the thing. If Bryce Young continues to build on what he did the second half of last season, then you're like, okay, we have a bright future. We're locked in at quarterback, because people tend to forget he was the first overall pick. Now he's become like this comeback story. Yeah. So people tend to forget that. So you have your guy now, you're like, oh, he's showing that first overall pick potential. Then you're like, okay, we're good going forward. Now we can build around him. Hopefully the wide receiver they drafted, Ted McMillan, is good. You don't need him being an all-star or a Pro Bowler this year, but at least be, okay, this guy is going to be our number one going forward. They have other potential talent there as well, but just the defense is going to hold them back. So I'm going 7 wins.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Their defense really sucked last year. I think they were in the bottom of the league in almost everything. You're right about that. And it's going to be hard. I mean, I wrote a little list over here of a couple of players. I got, J.C. Horn, who I think they're overpaying by a whole bunch. That's kind of crazy. But they're bringing, Mooring at safety and Wharton at D-line. So a couple of guys that they brought in. But Bobby Brown, who I like. But, they lost like Brian Burns, who was one of their best defensive players a couple of years ago. I mean,
Thank you very much.
Luke Kuechly retires after like 5 minutes because he can't stand Carolina. I don't know. There's something bad about Carolina. I don't know. Maybe David Tepper, the owner, but they probably will end up finishing at the bottom of the division. But I'm with you. Yeah, they could pull out 7 wins. I think that the Falcons can get somewhere near 10. I'm with you with the Bucs prime, maybe 11 or 12, and then New Orleans. Yeah, they were 5-12 last year, and you got to be really worried about them this year, man. I mean, but what the good thing is, the lining is that we talk about whether it's Arch Manning or another quarterback who comes out this year, Nussmeier. I don't know. I'm not great with college. You know me, Damian. I don't know my college stuff. I really don't. But I know there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out, and the Saints will be in prime position to get one if Tyler Shock doesn't work out or if Spencer Rattler can't revive his career or anything like that. So, don't feel so bad. You guys weren't going anywhere this year. It's all about building through the future.
I'm ready for this type of season.
Yeah.
Because for years now, we've been not good enough to make the playoffs, but too good to get a good pick, right? So I'm ready for this type of season to where we finally hit rock bottom. We get the first or second pick, and we are able to reset. Now, if Tyler Shough shows himself to be a good quarterback, that puts us in an even better position because now we can spend that pick on the next great defensive player or whoever it may be that we need to fill other holes. So either way, I'm good with it. Just we'll be set for the future knowing now, okay, this is how we're going to go forward with this new quarterback or build around the defense and start to get the defense younger finally after all these years of being an old, overpaid defense. So I'm ready for what's happening. I guess that's probably what puts me in a good mood as well, or a better mood, I should say, is that I'm already prepared for the worst, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like last year they fooled us. They fooled us. First 2 weeks, we looked like world beaters the first 2 weeks of the season.
I remember.
It was like, oh wow, the Saints out here scoring 40 points a game, just running over teams.
Yep.
It's kind of like New England did that last year too. The Patriots started off like, oh my God, they're going to go 17-0 again. And
it was. We started off 2-0. Everybody got excited, and then we lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
So this year, I feel like we're already set in that mode of this is going to be rough. We're down. We're hunkering down through this year to get to next year.
You guys are going to end up with Nussmeier from LSU. You guys,
I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that. I'm an LSU guy. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
I think it's. I think in maybe you and I need to, because I try to weekly, kind of slowly but surely, kind of get Prophet into maybe leaning into college football, because I absolutely love college football. I have my whole life. So, but there's some quarterbacks out there. If the Saints don't get it right. And the Panthers, if the Panthers decide that they want to move on from Bryce Young, which is probably very realistic, maybe if not this season, maybe next season. A lot of these guys, there's a lot of short leashes, and we've talked too about coaches on a hot seat, quarterbacks on a hot seat, and I think Carolina is going to be one of those teams that people watch very intently this year to see if Bryce Young continues to progress, or if it's time to kind of give up on him. Their receiving core, they're slightly improved, but their defense, like you said, their defense absolutely blows. Ashawn Robinson and those guys, just that's not the answer. So I agree with you. Kind of what you said about the Saints. I think the same holds true for the Carolina Panthers. Is that if you can have a good, you got good quarterback play this year. Now you don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback. You can go out and get one of the best defensive players in the country and kind of start building from there, because your defense is atrocious.
Yeah. Defense is bad news, but the Saints are in one of those positions that very few teams get in. Like you said, you got to hit rock bottom if you want to come back up at some point, and that's just it. You're gonna have to hit it on a few players. Maybe get the right coach in there, because I don't know what about Kellen Moore, man. I mean, what are your thoughts on him?
I feel like we're in a position where we didn't really have our choice of head coaches.
Yeah, we're last on the board with that one, man.
So I think I'm not going to say we settled for him, but you just hope that the offensive genius thing is real.
Yeah.
I've had my doubts about it, but he has had some success on the offensive side of the ball. Last year, had some success.
I don't even think Jalen Hurts listened to him in Philadelphia. I don't even think he paid attention to him, man. This Kellen Moore thing, I'm scared about it, D. I'm scared, man. I feel you. Like, again, like if I had my choice, Brian Flores is somebody who I definitely thought we should have gone after. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as far as from a head coach perspective. Aaron Glenn, I thought for sure like we would have a chance there.
Yeah, makes sense.
But he really wanted to go to the Jets. I think because the Jets do have talent, right? I think that can get lost. Like the Jets have talent.
He's got sentimental reasons to go to the Jets too.
And not to mention the guys on the Jets don't have AARP cards like everybody on the freaking Saints do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Jets
AARP cards and overdrawn credit cards.
Yeah. And they got subs to the movies for the matinee, so then I got to pay $5 for that shit. Oh man, so it'll be a tough division, but I got it. Prime. I'm going Tampa Bay. I'm going Atlanta next. I'm not sure if Atlanta is a playoff team just yet, because I got a few teams that, man, I don't want to give stuff away, but
right.
I don't want to give too much away, but I think Arizona is going to be a pretty good team this year. I don't want to go all over.
I'm not shocked by that. Not shocked by that.
I think they might finally actually
we talk about Arizona every week over here. I don't know about the little guy Kyler Murray. I don't know. He runs around, he throws the ball. You just want to muss his head because he's such a good guy. But we'll talk about that when we get into the NFC West. But
he's like a head with two really quick feet just going all over the place.
it's we talk about Trevor Lawrence kind of, hey, it's time, and Kyler Murray kind of fits that mold as well.
No doubt.
That's for another show.
I agree.
For sure.
So anyway, I'm going Tampa. I'm going to go Atlanta because they really got the talent there. I'm interested to see what Drake London is and if Kyle Pitts is going to come back. Bijan Robinson, again, really young team.
London had a really good year last year.
He did. He started really coming on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I was unsure about him because he really didn't start out that good. That could be a quarterback thing also. They really weren't stable in Atlanta for a couple of years. And then, you know what? Here comes Penix. And for the last 6 games or whatever it was that he played, yeah, you're right, man. Drake London. And you know what? We can even say it right here, right now. He's going to be a higher fantasy pick than he ever was. That's for sure.
For sure.
No doubt. So, but I will finish it out with Carolina, and then I do unfortunately have New Orleans at the bottom of that division. Yeah. But brighter days to come. D Prime, what do you got in that division? How do you see it?
So I got Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, and like I said, I got Tampa Bay running away with that division. So but Atlanta is one of those teams that a lot of people are going to watch because they want to see. Again, the development of Penix, the development of Jaden Daniels, these second, third-year quarterbacks. It's time, C.J. Stroud in Houston, we talked earlier. So if Penix develops the way that people think he's going to, then Atlanta and Drake London continues the momentum from last year that you guys just talked about. Atlanta could be a dangerous team, but the problem is that there's so many teams I think that are still better than them in the NFC. It'll be very tough for them to crack that top 7 to get into a wild card. But I think the only way Atlanta gets in the playoffs is if they win the division. But like Jay said, we don't want to give too much stuff away because we got some other shows coming up in the coming weeks where we're going to do our predictions and all that other good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And that big prediction show right before on that Tuesday before the Thursday first night game, Dallas and Philadelphia, no doubt. Steve-O this guy's got to be a stand-up comedian. I love Steve-O. Says, Tampa, you don't impress me much. Well, again, your honest opinion for your NFC South, man, what's going to happen from top to bottom?
Yeah. I agree with both of you guys. I got Tampa Bay, probably 12-5. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna go 9-8 for Atlanta. And
I can see that. That's reasonable.
They're right there on that borderline, that water. Yeah. So you're unsure about them right now. Like maybe yes, maybe no. I might give them.
Maybe they're on that line. I got to think about the rest of my team.
Yeah,
and they're on that line as far as making the playoffs.
All right.
So Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Then I'm gonna go Carolina. Like I said, I can see 6 or 7 wins for Carolina, and then I'm gonna go with my Saints at the bottom. We're gonna beat Atlanta once. That always happens.
Yeah,
we're gonna probably beat Carolina once. So I'm gonna go 2-15 for my Saints.
Oh wow,
that hurts, man. That just hurts. But that pretty much almost guarantees you the number 1 pick right there, and that's really what they need. I mean, look, you want to build your offensive line. That's really important too. But you know what? Let them get as many picks as they can. Get young. That's what's important in the NFL, really. Now, not just the offensive, defensive line, but being young, having young players, man. These guys, not just their contract for the first 4 years, but they're usually playing their best football when they hit 25, 26, 27 years old. Like, that's when you really want to assemble that kind of team. So, you know what? There could be brighter days ahead for the New Orleans Saints, man. No doubt about it. They got a great fan base, great team. So, I'm looking forward to it, man. We'll see what Kellen Moore does. D, you have been freaking amazing, man. Thank you for hanging out all night. I appreciate it. Everybody sticking around. I love you guys. I appreciate you all in the chat. D is going to tell you some awesome stuff. His podcast is coming back. You have got to listen to it. Let him tell you about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. And hey, man, what's better than talking football for an hour and 30 minutes?
I'll do it any night you want, baby. Exactly. Any night you want.
So I don't mind hanging around a little longer. It was a good time, great conversation. My podcast is called The Real Deal with Damian Adams. We are coming to you each and every Tuesday night. And right now we're in the middle of doing our previews as well. So on Tuesday night, I had my guy Chris Negron on, and we did the North. Nice. So we did the AFC and NFC North. Also talked UFC on there and some boxing on that episode as well. So if you're looking for a podcast where you're looking for the NFL, NBA, and boxing, The Real Deal with Damian Adams is where you can come, and also UFC from time to time. Also, I write for my website, realdealtakes.com. So if you're looking for good articles where you're going to have interesting takes, some unpopular opinions, but backed up with really good reasoning and facts, go ahead and check out realdealtakes.com as well. And lastly, you can follow me on social media where I'm usually putting up videos daily at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Apple. And for old time's sake, I want to see my podcast take a quantum leap.
By the way, is that a silver Yeti microphone that you're rocking right there?
It is.
Yeah. See, so yeah. Yeah, so
Me and D have always had that chemistry, man. He did this quantum leap one time. I caught on to it, and we just started rolling with it. It was great, man. We just had so much inside stuff. Such a great time, man. That's why you had to be here today. I appreciate it so much, bro. Thank you, man.
No doubt, man. Like I said, anytime you guys need a guest, you're looking for one, hit me up, man. I'm down.
Oh, no doubt. We'll do this more during the season, and I will see you on Sunday, bro, because we got a fantasy draft to do, baby.
Yeah, bonus episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams, The Real Deal Draft on Sunday night.
Yeah, love it. Oh, and that's going to be fun. All right, it's definitely R-rated, guys, so be prepared.
Sure. There's going to be a lot of curse words when I steal who Jason wants in the draft, for sure.
Oh, man, I love it. D, thanks so much, brother. You're the best, man. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you on Sunday.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
Peace out, man. Thanks.
All right. He is absolutely freaking the man. I love that guy so much. Great job out of him. Great job out of Mike. Great job out of you. Great questions. A lot of fun. We could have gone on for 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours, but, we got to do stuff. We all have things to do over here. You're not off tomorrow, are you?
No, I'm actually not. No. I gotta go and do the work thing tomorrow, but here's what it is.
Yeah, when New Orleans was good with Drew Brees and everything, and the 49ers had their teams going for a little while, with like Colin Kaepernick and stuff like that, we had some pretty good battles back in the day.
Yeah, the same. I kind of miss Drew Brees playing. He's one of those guys who gets kind of sentimental about it. I kind of missed. I love watching Drew Brees. More
Peyton Manning. Yeah, I miss these guys, man. I'm with you.
So
Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, like Tom Brady.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys that you really miss.
I miss McNabb. I miss the old Eagles. I miss, I miss Vic. There's a lot of guys, man. You just kind of like, man, I wish those guys would, in the moment you don't realize, but they always say you don't know what you got till it's gone.
I'll tell you who I used to love watching: Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter.
God, stop it!
And Rob Smith, the running back. Right?
Are you kidding me? Yep, Robert, the former Buckeye. He's a podiatrist. You remember that? He was a foot doctor.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was actually a podiatrist. He had his Oh
wait, now it's ringing a bell. Actually, that's something that he's ringing a bell.
That offense, Dante Culpepper was about 7'4", 614 pounds back there. Man, he was
a monster.
Oh my God! But that offense was fun to watch. Jake Reed, Chris Carter, Randy Moss.
Jake Reed, good call.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but yeah, as always, man, it's always great having big fun doing the show. Steve-O, McNiner, everybody's chiming in, stuff like that, man. We always appreciate you guys. So stick around. We got more preview shows coming next week.
We do.
And what do we do? What are we doing next week, Jay? Which divisions?
Next week is the AFC and NFC West, and McNiner is coming on next week.
So now I get to talk about
Let me double check this real quick.
I want to talk about my Oregon quarterbacks. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. We got for the NFC West, we got David McNiner, and the AFC West, we got Abe Reynolds, who's a Broncos fan.
Oh, okay, sweet. There you go.
So we're set. We're good to go. All right. That should be a lot of fun. Today was a lot of fun. Thanks again to Mike and Damian for hanging out. I had a great time. Fellas. Awesome stuff. Love having guests on. Next week, we got more guests. Maybe we'll throw out the phone number and do some questions in there next week. Just this week, didn't have time. We had to talk to these guys, man. Just had to be done. But all right, Prime, we're out for now. Next week, we'll be back.
Peace.
Peace, everybody. We'll see you next time.